Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here. And my name is Mundalo Advice, as rightfully said. I'm a political strategist, a communication specialist, and a political animal. I served rightfully in the Jubilee administration in the last government, and I led the youth affairs of that government at the time at the political party. But today I'm here to discuss something about the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. And I think because it is just a few days, I think it's less than 3 days since the passing of Raila Odinga, I feel like it's very, very important that before I start off speaking about him, that we just rise up and have a moment of silence in respect of that elder, and then I can be able to proceed. Kindly. Thank you very much. So, as I have this conversation about Raila Odinga, I know it's a name that all of us have interacted with, and it's a name that all of us know. And there are very many ways that we can describe who Raila was. I really had the rare privilege of working for Honorable Raila Odinga in the 2022 presidential campaign, where I was steering the presidential campaign on youth. And we did a lot of work. We were able to traverse the country, and I was really able to sit there and watch exactly who Raila Odinga was beyond the podium. And I could be able to feel that this gentleman really knows what he wanted to do for this country. At the time, there was a lot of turmoil about young people supporting the Right Honorable Raila Odinga. And one of the biggest challenges we had to deal with in the campaign is the vitriol from our opponents was always that he is too old to lead. And one of the biggest challenges for us who led the youth campaign, especially myself as a coordinator on the youth front, it was about how do we convince the young people that a man who was near 80 years old was more fit to lead this country. And at that time, I really and honestly had my reasons why I thought he was the best fit to lead the country. And one of those principal reasons that I thought was the mere fact that 60 years down the line after independence, I felt like those who fought hard enough and those who fought for the freedoms we enjoyed had never had an opportunity to lead the country. All of them had always fizzled out. And I felt that at that time, it was very, very important that for once, we give the steering wheel of this country to those who fought for the freedoms that we enjoy, to those who fought for the democracies that we had. And I felt that was a very important thing and a very important reason why I then thought that he really would make a very good president for the Republic. But I had other reasons. Whereas we all talked about matters of youth inclusion, I really believed that Raila Odinga cared for the young people. Because I looked around, and at that time, we in the Azimio team were the only campaign team which had a youth-led secretariat. At that time, I could be able to point to so many young people who had risen and ascended to the helms of power through the Honorable Raila Odinga. I could be able to see so many young voices. I could look at people like the current government spokesperson as a person who had been picked from university leadership by the Honorable Raila Odinga. I could look at people, and so many of them, I could look at the likes of Babu Owino, who had been picked from university politics. Myself and many others included. And because I believed that the country was heading towards a direction where technology mattered, I therefore thought that young people need to be at the center stage of governance because if anything, we understand technology better than the old. And I believe I'm right on that. And for that reason, I thought if we have this Baba there, and because he is one of those people who did not fear the energy of the young, but he fueled it, then we would have an opportunity to play at competitive speed, especially in regard to technology, because then we would have a seat at the table. But be that as it may, I also believed in that candidature because anytime I looked at Raila Odinga, I learned resilience. I don't know if you know of anybody who would teach you a lesson on resilience better than Raila Odinga. Because this was a man who had lost elections over 3 times, faced betrayals from so many people. A man who faces betrayals and insults even up to today in his grave as we speak here today. But be that as it may, he was able to still remain resilient. He kept pushing on. And every time we asked him, even at the center, he kept saying that every time you lose, you learn. So you don't drop the ball. You don't drop the... And for me, that was a lesson, especially for us, the young people in life. Because there are so many things we struggle with, right? All of us struggle with our ambition. We are struggling with a lot of stuff. But if there is one lesson we could learn, was that lesson of resilience. That we don't need to drop the ball. And for that, I thought, this man deserves an opportunity. But fast forward, and we are here today. And unfortunately, we do not have the man again. And as many of you have said, and many of you have read on social media, it's been said that the death of Raila Odinga comes with a multitude of political orphans, right? Right? But truthfully, I think all orphans are not the same. Because whereas I agree that we have orphans, these orphans come in 2 sets. We have those people who used Raila Odinga as their code of conduct in politics and rode on his name, never believing in his beliefs. They praised his name when it mattered. They rode on his glory. People who did not necessarily have a conviction about what he stood for, but they conveniently hung around him and got into various offices of government, various offices of representation. Now, those people's lives and their political future is very fragile. Because really, you cannot be able to build a leadership capacity on borrowed purpose. And that's a good thing for us. Because going forward, then as a leader, you have to stand on the moral fabric of what you stand for, and we have to judge you by your character and what you promise to do for the people and what you have done. And nobody then has the convenience to hang around and just be able to use the good name of Raila Odinga to get into office. But we also have another set of political leaders. Those ones who are truthfully and honestly mentored. The ones who sat at his feet and truly learned. The ones who embody his spirit. The ones who really think that this country deserves to be better than it is because they learned right. This is also an opportunity for we as a country to feel them even more. Because now they can be able to present themselves even better. And the challenge is to ask the people, we the people, to differentiate between these 2 types of political orphans and choose right. Choose the ones who embody the spirit of Raila Odinga and not choose the ones who lean on the convenience of the name of Raila Odinga. And so the jury is out there, and I'm really hopeful that as we move into the next dispensation and we move closer to the election, we the people will make better decisions. Because I really have always believed that the future of this country is not about the political class. It is about we the people and the decisions that we make. So today, as we mourn the demise of Raila Odinga, my hope and prayer is that we do not just mourn, but we use that opportunity to organize, to strategize, to move forward, to be able to embody the character and a country that the old man wished that we have. So let's not just mourn. Let us move the country forward. Let us be able to be in the spirit that moves this country forward and get it to the levels that Raila Odinga would have wished that it actually gets to. I wish to come to a close at that because we are going to have more and more conversation. Otherwise,